Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. And today we're going to be looking at something pretty strange here. This is the Super Arcade Emulator. I decided to take a look at this. It says it has 1,500 games built in, and it does support 10 different platform emulators. So I kind of just wanted to go over the system itself and the emulators, how they run. So let's take a look. Alright, so are you guys excited? Let's take a look at this. Yes, red is an awesome color, it really pops. So one thing I did like about this system so far is that it's 6 buttons across, so for fighting games this would be perfect pretty much. So haven't tested those games out just yet, but still I like that setup pretty much. Now here, I think this is the composite cable. Okay, wow, only 2. That's pretty cheap, so that pretty much means we're going to get mono sound for the games if we plug it into a television. So, wow, they really went the cheap route there. Here is the charging cable for the system. You'll have to provide your own plug for it. Reason why is because these are sold in different regions, so I guess they just left it up to the region to find a plug for it. And here are the instructions. They are in Chinese, but if you turn it to the back, it is in English, but we don't need any of that because we know what we're doing here. So let's get onto the system. Alright, after a few minutes of trying to work this thing without the instructions, I definitely need them. They are essential to like playing the system, and also not pushing a button that'll reset you from the game on accident if you're playing. So definitely take a look at the instructions so you can know the button configurations. Alright, so after turning the system on, I was pretty excited to see what the system had to offer. You know, 10 emulators. There's a set amount of games across the emulators, but the first one I mainly wanted to try out was the main emulator. I always feel if that emulator works proper enough, you know, the rest should kind of fall in line. Not so much. So the first game I wanted to try out was Three Wonders, or actually Midnight Wonders. It's part of a trilogy game for Capcom. This is a run and gun shooter, and this one was pretty cool. It actually played pretty well, decent enough, I would say. But I don't want to keep showing you guys the screen like this. I'm going to plug it into the television so you guys can see better what we're getting into here. Alright, that's better-ish. So it actually runs pretty good, actually. I was actually pretty impressed with this game. You know, it takes a bit of getting used to the controls because the D-pad feels a little bit stiff. But other than that, you know, this is totally playable. But the issue I ran into with this device, I don't know if it was on my end, but like playing this on a television, I didn't get any sound output. So I don't know if that's an issue with the device or maybe that was an issue with me, but still just wanted to put that out there. So next I wanted to try the NES emulator, and it had one of my favorite games of all time, Rainbow Islands, and this one actually played pretty good. I didn't really see too many issues with this one besides the way it always was a bad port on the NES in my opinion, but it's still fun enough. But anyways, let's move on to the next game. Game Boy emulator was next, and this one actually played fine too. I wanted to go with a simple game like Tetris, and I ended up picking Tetris Plus by accident. I guess one of the reasons I picked Tetris because I remember when I taught my buddy Alvin how to play this series, and he's gotten really good at it, so just wanted to come back to this game for a bit. And next I decided to try the Game Boy Advance emulator. I picked out Astro Boy because that was the only title I had at the time I could see appealing to play on this thing. And it actually plays really well on the emulator. I was actually surprised. I thought I was going to stutter, but from what I played of it, it actually played pretty well. So next up I wanted to try the Genesis emulator, and I decided to play Panorama Cotton, which is a cotton game that plays like a rail shooter, kind of similar to Space Harrier. I thought it would like pretty much push the emulator's limits, but actually this game actually played well. I was very surprised. A lot of people have not played this game, but it actually is a really fun game. But it's my worst cotton game when it comes to skill level. This game is tough, at least for me it is. I think this game really kind of pushed the Genesis limits at the time. I could be wrong about that, but it seemed like it did. But anyways, this one actually plays good on the system. Alright, so next up was the Game Boy Color emulator. I decided to try Metal Gear Solid Ghost Babel, and it actually played really well. This is an awesome Metal Gear Solid game that a lot of people don't even know about, so I was happy that it was actually on this device. But the D-pad feels kind of stiff with this game, so I would suggest using the analog for it if you decide to play this one. And next I decided to try out the Super Nintendo emulator. I played Sunset Riders, but I had an issue with this game. Every time I played it, it kept picking 2 players, but the cool part about that was I got to control both players. So it kind of worked in my favor, which was really cool. But Sunset Riders is definitely a popular game. But even though I got to control both players, the game, as you can see, does not play well. It's very choppy and it skips frame rates a lot. So definitely one you might want to skip on this emulator. Alright, so going back to the main emulator, I found it had Snow Brothers 2 on here. A lot of people don't even know this game exists. Pretty good, well, pretty much the same as the first one, but you get to play as different characters. The main emulator, I would say, so far so good. I mean, I think this is the best emulator on here. I mean, no issues with this so far. But at the same time, I'm not testing out every game on here, so take that with a grain of salt. I do want to say that when you're not on the home screen of the system, when you choose certain emulators, this is how the list looks for the game. So it doesn't even have the whole title for them, so you have to kind of like, I don't know, you just have to kind of like just remember what games have certain initials. And some games, unfortunately, did not work when I played on TV mode. But they did play when I played the system in portable mode. The game here I'm trying out right now is Art of Fighting 3, which actually played portable, but it played horribly. It was laggy, frames, it was insane. So I could imagine how it would look on a television, so that's probably why it doesn't play. So overall, do I think the Super Arcade emulator is worth getting? Fuck no. Save your money. You got better things to spend your money on than this. I mean, this probably would have been cool maybe in the late 90s, early 2000s. But now there's so many better ways to play games, it just doesn't make any sense to get something like this. It does have some cool lighting features on it, like on the back, it looks pretty cool when you turn it on, but still, this is not worth your money. Honestly, this is probably worth it if you pay like maybe $5 or less, you know, it might be worth getting, but even then, are you really going to play games on this? There's just so many better ways to play games nowadays. You know, this kind of device is just, ugh. Anyways, guys, stay away from this device. Stay far, far away. But I wanted to put this review out for you all so you guys know better than to pick this up. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for you in this video. Thank you for watching. Radicalreggie, and I will see you all in the next video.